All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I wanted to talk about the Oppo Find N5. Since I have the Oppo Find N6 on the way, I wanted to talk about ColorOS and this new feature that they showed on the N6 that I still do not have access to on my N5, especially since the N6 has been fully released. There are reviews rolling out, stuff like that. So anyway, let's get into ColorOS. All right, so jumping in, I want to show what ColorOS is capable of and why I feel like this is the most well-rounded OS as far as like the Chinese OEMs go. So first things first, let's talk about Vivo and Origin OS. Origin OS feels the most basic out of all three. Well, I mean, there are more out there, but I'm just going to talk about Origin OS, Color OS, and Magic OS. Magic OS is a close second to me because it feels like a full package, but it feels like the one that's trying to be more like Apple than the other two. ColorOS is trying to be like Apple in a sense that it does have like the what are they calling it, the glass feature in the theme or UI whatever. But and you know, a lot of the OEMs have the double tab the notifications here and the control panel here. I've gotten used to that. I've been using it for a while. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. I know a lot of people hate it. They wish that it was combined more like what Samsung does, or I think what Pixel does on their UI. I haven't used Pixel in a little while, but either way, ColorOS feels like the more well-rounded package because in the OS itself, let's go ahead and long press. And you know what? No. Let's do this the right way, the long way, where you get all of the features. So in here, you have your flux themes, and I'll show you those really quickly. And see, those are the ones that look like iOS to me. But hey, wherever you guys feel like they came from, it doesn't matter to me. I like them because you can apply them and then edit them to look more like what you want, a more customized theme. That's fine. You got your wallpapers, you got your always on display, and you have your full screen always on display. You do seamless and so on and so forth. So you have a few choices down here. I don't really use those. I've really been sticking with these up here, the classic, the seamless, and the full screen, mostly the full screen. And you have your fonts, which I don't really change those much. I probably could and should to add a little more customization to here. But one of my favorite features of ColorOS is the icon packs. Everything is built into the OS. You don't have to go out and you can go out and download more, but I like what's here in the choices. So just with the classic here, you have where it can auto dark the themes. And I love that. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite. That's like my top three features. One of my favorite features on here. So, and then on top of that, you can do the art plus icon and change the icons a little bit, but nothing major. And you can change the shape, the size, the rounded corners, the app name. You can make it large. Let's go ahead and do that so you can see it. And it's ever so slight, but once you can start switching to flux, change those colors to match your wallpaper. These are the colors that it pulled from the wallpaper that I have applied right now. Shape, of course, and so on and so forth. Same stuff down there. Radiance. And you can change those there. And shadow, you can get those dark themes there. And you see, this is one I've noticed where the Art Plus icons impacts it more. All right. And you can keep going. Look at that. You have a couple more here before you look at that. And it changes. And you just have a number of choices here. Then you can do more and you can go in and download more stuff. But anyway, this is my favorite because you have so many options here built into ColorOS. And I really love that. All right. So let's talk about, you know what? Let's get into the multitasking. We're on a foldable. ColorOS is packed with features and things like that, but I want to get into the multitask because that new feature that I mentioned earlier in the video before I got sidetracked on the customizations. Let's hit this, and I hope nothing crazy pops up on here. All right. So the new features show where you can have multiple little windows, apps open in their own little windows. You can move them around and have a little freeform, and I'll pop a little video up for you guys to watch that so you can see what I'm talking about. That feature is not present here right now. I've tried different ways. I've tried mimicking the gesture that they use in the video where they squeeze in with their, I think it was like either four fingers or all five, either way, which, I mean, it does bring all the windows in so you can fully see them. And then you go back up into that boundless view. I think that's what they call it. But what you can do, one of my favorite things that you can do on here is you can tap the three buttons, the menu at the top, expand one of the apps, and they'll pull it down to the bottom, make it larger. And then you can still switch between the two up top and go back down. And then you can even go a step. Let me see if I can open one in the window, because I always save something to test live. So let's see. I'm going to grab, let's see if the Play Store will let me do it. See, no, it's actually asking me to replace an app as opposed to opening a window. So good to know, good to know. But what you can do is you can go up here and do floating window, and you have those two there, and you can do this one, and you can grab a corner and shrink it. But if you wanted to have multiple little like apps in window form, here's what'll happen if you do it again. So it minimizes that one over to the right, and it'll swap between the two. You cannot have multiple windows in this. I don't know why. It's so weird, but you know, bring the menu back up and you can go back to your split view. And you can add this one back to the split view, and then you can do what I did before, where you can expand it. So it's really fluid with what you have right now, but I really would like that other that update. And I thought that the update would be out now since the N6 has been fully announced and people are reviewing it already, but it's not present yet. I did get an update yesterday, so I'm on the latest update. And it's still weird that that feature did not come in that update. And no matter what I try, I've just tried different things. I even went into the settings to dig around, see if there's a gesture I'm missing or something like that, but it's just not present yet. So I'm not sure when it's going to come, or if it's already on the N6 and I just don't have access to it on my N5. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But I just want to cover ColorOS because it's so fluid. Everything works really well. And this is the Chinese version, and I don't have access to like Gemini and things like that on here. I do have the global version of the Oppo Find X9 Pro, and I do have Gemini and everything on here. But I could show you that it is the global version, because when you swipe to the left of the screen, it brings up that Google News page, news feed. So I do have that, and I do have access to Gemini. So that's this OS has really grown on me, and I just wanted to cover it really quickly. But I do want to take a look at I think it's called O Plus, where you can connect it to the computer and kind of drag or send things to your computer, remotely control your computer, remotely control your phone, so on and so forth. I want to test all that and see how well it works on the global version of this OS, especially since I have the global version of the N6 coming in soon. So we'll see. But if there's anything that you guys would like to see, particularly on ColorOS or just Oppo in general, please feel free to drop a comment down below, all right? And if you enjoyed the content here, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, all right? It goes a long way. And I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.